All right, so welcome again to WSU Snohomish County Extension, first ever and virtual repair cafe. So we've been doing repair cafes for 2 years, and this is our first one of our third year. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do one in person yet, so this is a bit of an experiment, and we're glad you're all here to join us. So with us today, I have several colleagues from WSU Snohomish County Extension. I'll start with Brendan White. Brendan is going to be doing leather care best practices, and he also is with our forestry department. So if you have tree questions, Brendan may be able to answer them for you. So Brendan, did you want to talk about what you're going to talk about real quick?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So I'm just going to be talking about the general basics of leather care and basic restoration. I can get into some basic repair stuff if people have specific questions about that, but that gets into a larger subject. And like Heather said, if you have forestry related questions, you can ask me those at the end as well.
Thank you, Brendan. And then also we have Mark Beatty. I'm very excited. Mark works at WSU Everett Extension, well, the branch campus in Everett. If you haven't been there, it's beautiful. And Mark, go ahead and talk to us about what we're going to learn from you today.
Sure. So welcome, everyone. I'm a faculty member with the Carson College of Business, and my session today is going to revolve around online teaching tips and tricks. So whether you're a teacher or whether you have found yourself teaching your youngsters who are now at home, we're going to give you some tips to be able to have a much better day and a much better time with those teaching things. So it'll be a lot of fun. Join me.
Thank you, Mark. Mary's one of our esteemed Sustainable Community Steward volunteers. Thank you, Mary, for being here. And same with Jane. And Brent is one of our repair cafe fixers, and a great one to have on our fixer team. Brent is going to be one of our panelists for general fixes. And so Brent, did you want to say anything that you are comfortable talking about, or got to unmute yourself first? That tricky thing.
I've been playing with my new microphone, so I was messed up on sound. I was just reading it. The New York Times just had an article about virtual telemedicine home repair fixes, and there's a bunch of companies now that are doing online. They're offering free help diagnosing problems, and some of them will even refer you to outside repairmen, once they can come in. So it's kind of interesting that we're right on the same timeline as what seems to be going on nationwide.
Right. Thank you, Brent. And what's your favorite thing to repair, or that you have repaired?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's not really repair work. I really enjoy woodworking, so I do a lot of little wood projects.
Nice, thank you. And we have Nancy and Gary here. They're Jolene's parents. Thank you for being here, Nancy. And Bruce, thank you for joining us. Where are you joining us from, Bruce? Got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I am. I'm joining you from Seattle. I'm a member of the P&A Village Fixers, and also a member of the P&A Fixers, which is the first Wednesday at the local hardware store, Vinnie Neighborhood Association. Longtime fixer from a kid. It's a habit, and I hate broken stuff. Probably 2 top fixes in the last year are repairing 2 free e-bikes and getting them going.
Oh, cool. Nice. All right. So you'll want to talk to Larry too. He's with Sharing Wheels Community Bike Shop. I'll get to him in a second because I'm just going in visual order here for on my screen. So thank you, Bruce. And then we have Jolene Jang here. Jolene.
Hello. I am representing the lay person, like the tech person who's on their computer who has the worst lighting for some reason. I don't understand why. And how to diagnose problems because there's going to, oh, the camera's here, but the light's here, sorry. How to diagnose problems from a layperson. My parents who are on the line are very handy. That doesn't mean that I inherited that. And so if you are a homeowner, what are all the things that can happen? And so you have your door locks, your toilets, your sinks that clog, all these common things that a lot of people feel like they need to call the plumber and the appliance person, et cetera. And I'm saying, hey, you know what, you can do this yourself and at least try and understand what the parts are and describe the problem. And I've been able to fix lots of things, like my deck fix, like the deck was sinking, it's 2 stories. And I looked that up on videos and my dad and I did it. My dad has experience doing these things, but I researched them and then, and so I'm going to share with you how to identify what is that thing that broke, and then how do you find other people who have fixed it, and then if you have to call a person, they are less likely to take advantage of you. I'm a person who a guy, you know, service person would like, oh, she doesn't know anything, you know. And so, you know, you know, if you're a target, it's great. If you're older, if you're a woman, you know, or you're very young, you're a target. And I see that. I've done a lot. And so I want to help empower people to figure out how to do it themselves, or at least get closer to the problem.
Great. Thank you, Jolene. And next we have Ram. Thank you, Ram, for being with us. Ram's one of our sustainable community steward speakers during our fall training. So Ram, you want to say what you're going to talk about today?
Sure. One of the things that I think a lot of people don't think about, and that's probably because technology is so advanced today, is doing updates to the software that you run. Software on your computer and software on other devices. And we'll talk about some reasons why you should do that and answer questions about how.
Great. Thank you, Ram. Larry, you're going to need to unmute yourself. Sorry, but you have to put your coffee down. Yep.
Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted. Yep.
I'm a volunteer from Sharing Wheels Community Bike Shop in Everett. And I've been asked to demonstrate how to fix a flat tire when you're out on the road, which we'll do. And I'll also show you how to patch a tube in the event that you don't have a replacement tube with you when you're out riding. And so that's what's on my agenda this morning. I am amazed. I go down to the park to exercise in Shoreline, and I'm just always amazed at the number of e-bikes that I'm seeing. Not only adults, but little kids as well. It's pretty amazing how many are out there at this point. Also, we are offering a porch drop-off today. Anybody who wants to bring a bike in for repair can bring it to the bike shop at 2531 Broadway in Everett anytime after the Repair Café up to closing at 5. And we'll see what we can do with that bike. So.
Great. Thank you, Larry. Yeah, Sharing Wheels Community Bike Shop has been a partner with us for our Repair Cafes since the beginning in 2018. And they're a wonderful resource if you haven't been to their shop. I got a bike completely overhauled there and just thrilled with it. And it's volunteer run. And thank you, Larry, for being with us. And then Clark is one of our general fixers as well. Thank you, Clark, for being here.
Certainly. Yeah, I think general is probably the best term. There's a lot of electrical, mechanical, even plumbing. Just if it's broken, somebody was saying they hate broken stuff. I love broken stuff. So, yeah. So any help. I guess the other thing is I really love to help people. Like Jolene was saying, about empower them to do troubleshooting. To say, okay, it's broke, but okay, what questions to ask? So maybe we'll be practicing that.
That's great. Thank you, Clark. And Jason's one of my colleagues as well and is here to help me with my IT fixes. Jason does website design and product, and also is a great friend helping me take down some tree limbs yesterday. So Liz, welcome. It looks like you're from Vashon. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll come back to you in just a second. And then I wanted to introduce Maria and Gary. You have to unmute yourselves. You look great in red. You found a red shirt, Maria. Very nice.
Yeah, 4th of July shirt.
Perfect. So Mary's one of our wonderful super sewers, and Gary does jewelry repair for us at our repair cafes. So anything you folks want to say?
Well, I think you can't exactly do a sewing on the screen, but I can give you some ideas of where to go to see some videos on it. And also we can talk a little bit about mask making.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah, I can talk about general jewelry care and some of the simple repairs that someone at home might be able to accomplish, as well as explaining what would be required if someone needs to take it to a jeweler and what to expect from them.
Thank you. Great. Thank you so much. And Brian, you just have to unmute yourself. Brian's one of our fixers from the get-go also. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I've been, I don't know, very curious since a kid, just trying to figure out how stuff works and get my hands in things. And, you know, originally, I guess I started off with a hammer. It was my basic tool to fix everything with, and that only got you so far. So over time, I've got a few more tools and a little bit more experience. And I've also been an educator for a while, so I like to share all of the all the cool things you get to find out by tinkering and messing around. So I guess my two greatest fixes were a chainsaw that somebody brought to a repair cafe a while ago and was just like, whatever, I don't even care, just take it. If you fix it, fine, it's yours. If not, you know, do something else with it. So actually, it took me a while, but I did fix it, and it works fine. And the other one is like a lawnmower. So I guess small engine stuff too is kind of fun.
You're not going to mention that witch, the Halloween witch you got to?
Yeah, that was memorable indeed.
Yeah.
Holiday ornaments can be, especially Halloween ones.
Right.
I'm not going to talk more about that. You can ask me in the chat room later if you want to know more.
There you go. There you go. And welcome, Don. We'll come back to you in a second. Patricia is our director for natural resources at WSU Extension. Thrilled to have her here. And Jennison is visiting us from a extension on the East Coast, and I will come back to her in a minute. And James, thank you for being here. And so let's see, who have I missed? Jolmar, thank you for coming. That's great. Okay, so I think what we're ready to do, I've introduced all my fixers. Now I'll go back and just double check. Mary and Jane, I have you assigned already. Okay. Nancy and Gary, I'm assuming that you're gonna, what room, you have to unmute yourself. There
We're
you
just
are.
listening. We're just listeners.
Okay, just listeners. Okay. And
The picture.
And Bruce, did you have a room that you would like to be assigned to? A workshop? You have to unmute yourself first.
My space bar wasn't working. Put me into general, please.
Okay. And how about David? I already have you on leather. And Liz, how about you?
Hi. So I'm the organizer of the Vashon Fix-It Cafes, and so I really online to see how this works because we've been commissioned to do one for our local senior center. But also edification, I think I'd like to join Ram in the software updates.
Okay. All right, great. And Wayne, I have, and the breakout rooms, thank you for asking, Jolmar. The breakout rooms, again, are life hacks during COVID, so teaching kind of homeschooling with Mark Beatty, and they're going to do some fun cooking things. And then Brendan is doing leather care. Jolene is helping with successful searches of online DIY resources and just gaining confidence about repairing in general. Ram is doing computer updates, why they're important, why you should do it, and how to do it. and Larry is helping with how to fix a bike flat. Okay, so let's see. What? Go ahead. Yes.
Patricia Wangan. I'm not in any group.
What one would you like to, Patricia? Think.
Rum.
Okay, thanks for being here.
Rum.
Okay.
And Heather, I'm not in a breakout yet either. Could you assign me to Jolene's room, please?
Yes.
Oh, thanks, Jason.
Hi, Heather. I'm from Port Townsend, and we organized our first one in February. And I guess Mark Beatty would be a good person to visit today.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here, Tracy.
Thanks a lot.
And I'm not in a room yet either, I guess.
Okay, and Mary, what one would you like to do?
I wanted to be with Rom in the computer upgrades.
Great, thank you. And
For Nancy, she'll be with Rom too.
okay, Nancy. Okay.
Heather, this is Jolene.
Yes.
Congratulations for putting all these people together. It seems like we have mostly fixers, and I love that. And I would love to talk to everybody, maybe as a group, to see like how we can get into the different neighborhood groups. Right now, I'm doing a lot of buy nothing and sharing and trying to empower some of the other people, and getting with upcycling, because there is so much trash that people throw away. And with all the fixers, I think it would be valuable to be able to brainstorm for a few minutes on how we can help our neighborhoods, because they're all fixers here in this group, and it's so powerful. So anyway, it's just something to think about if there's any time.
Great, love it. Okay.
Hi, Heather.
Hi there, how are you?
Harvey.
Hi, Harvey.
Harvey at the computer.
Okay, got it.
That Ron?
Got it, great.
I don't know how to turn my camera around, so you got to picture me 23 years ago.
Very, very handsome. You look great. You and Rosie are wonderful. Rosie and Harvey are two of my waste warriors and fabulous volunteers. And Tracy says, Jolene, I'd like to connect about what you suggested. So definitely let's save time for that. And then I have Jolimar with Jolene, and Jean wants to be in jewelry. Okay, great. So Jean. Jewelry, okay. And then Dawn, how about you? You just have to take off your mute. Dawn, can you unmute yourself, or let's see if nope, I can't. There you are.
How about me? You got it? Okay.
I got it.
Okay. I'm one of the organizers with Rodeo City Repair Cafe in Ellensburg.
Nice.
And I'm basically just here to, our board currently is kind of having trouble figuring out how to get back into the game. And so I just wanted to join this and kind of watch what you guys are doing and steal some ideas. And maybe we can start a Zoom repair cafe here in Ellensburg. It's sort of along this lines. And
great. Well, we're so glad to have you. Yeah, it's been a challenge. I'm going to put you with Mark, and it's been a challenge to kind of put this together and figure out how to best do it. And there's also Don Fick, who organizes the I don't know if you're on Facebook, but he does the Repair Cafe for U.S. organizers. He has been terrific help for me out of North Carolina, and he does a Repair Cafe TV. That's similar to Car Talk, and has people call in, or not call in, but be on Zoom, and they take them one at a time. And it was really fun to listen to, actually. Learned a lot about all kinds of stuff while I was listening there.
What a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. Okay, so I am going to get people assigned here. So let's see here. I'll go to my breakout rooms. I'm going to open all rooms, and then I'm going to so just be patient with me as I do this here. Bruce is with general. Okay. And then David, sign to, okay. All right. Leather. Okay. Harvey, Ron. Okay. Don. Mark. James. Jolene. Jason. Jolene. Jean. Jean. Okay, so note to self, figure out how to do this better next time. Computer, Mary, computer, Nancy, computer, Trisha, computer, Tracy, Mark, Wayne, computer. Okay, let's see here. Jean.
So Heather, can you tell us when to start presenting?
Yeah. Yeah, Larry, are you in your breakout room yet?
I was in there and then we got back to you.
Oh, okay. Yes, go ahead and start. That'll be fine. Thank you.
Am I in the breakout room now?
Back in the breakout room, yes. Okay, and then Jean, are you with me still? Jean? Okay, okay, so I have Brent, Brian, Bruce. Bruce, did you have a particular room you wanted to be in, or you want to be in here with my general folks?
I'm here now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
This is Jean.
Unmute.
For some reason, I was frozen, but it wanted to send me to the electrics room. Was that the right place?
Oh, I didn't remember where you wanted to be. I can't read my notes.
Jewelry, if I could.
Jewelry. Okay, I'm going to keep you here then, because I have helping us.
Good morning.
Hey, Ram. Okay, go ahead and start. I'm going to go back to our other room.
Okay.
Heather.
Oh yes, Mary.
Oops, I lost the video. I'm just, no disrespect to Ram, or I don't want to sound like a creep, but I had asked to be in Jolene's room.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yep, I'm going to change
Oh, no,
that.
not
Thank you,
taken.
Ram, for having me here, but I was kind of trying to get into the other room. So.
No worries.
Okay.
No worries, Mary.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can everybody see the presentation?
I see it.
I think I moved the wrong Mary. Okay.
All right. We're going to go ahead and get started here. The focus of this presentation is about updating the software on your devices. And the reason is that in the context of viruses and other sorts of things that you might catch, we're practicing social distancing and being very careful to maintain our health.
Events, all around the sound.
There, she's
Oh,
back.
you're back, Heather.
And muted. You're muted.
And muted. Unmute yourself, Heather.
Space bar or there you go.
Okay, here I am. And then, okay, did everyone get to where they wanted to be?
I think I'm supposed to be in the jewelry group if there is one.
Yeah, so Gary's here.
Okay.
Yeah, he's up here with Maria in the red shirts. And then Beth, did you have a room that you wanted to be in? We have bike tire repair, best leather care. Jolene's doing successful searches online, computer updates, or teaching during COVID for parent tips.
I'll join the teaching, I'm sorry, the best searches online.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Heather, if I'm going to talk jewelry, you're going to put me in a room with Maria.
Okay, well, you know what we'll do is, for this one, if it's okay with everybody, we'll just keep this as the general one. And just curious, who's typing?
Egad. Sorry.
It's no problem. Was that you, Bruce? No problem. Okay, so Gary, hit it.
Yeah.
What's the question?
Begin. What is there a question?
Yeah, Jean, did you have a specific question?
Well, I'm curious to know if there are better ways to clean, what I should be using to clean some brass items that I got from my mom. And one of them has like white streaks on it from prior cleanings, possibly. I'm not entirely sure what they're from. I can try to get a picture if you want.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not up to speed on if there are any newer products on the market. But if I go back, God, how many years? When I was a cadet, we used to have to polish our brass with a product called Brasso. Yeah, it works great on trumpets too. It's got a petroleum solvent in there, and so it's not environmentally good, but it sure does a great job on brass. So I would say look at Brasso first, and then there may be some more environmentally friendly products that might be available. I once my parents had an anniversary, and we bought them an anniversary clock, a kind of a traditional thing. And the clock I got a deal on it because there was some tarnish on a couple of the brass pieces. And I polished them with Brasso. I disassembled the clock partway and sprayed a clear coat on those parts after polishing it. A clear coat, something that you get at a paint store. And today, this is many years later, that clock is just as shiny as the day I polished it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea. Thank you.
I've got an adder to that from the trumpet. And this trumpet, what blew my mind is it was $30, and I just couldn't resist. And because I've always wanted to play when I grew up playing French horn.
To this virtual world that it's kind of like a blog page, and faculty have been posting up on there. So one of the things that I was going to demonstrate today, one of our electrical engineering faculty did, and this was a quote from when he presented to our faculty: "Web cameras and document cameras are the toilet paper of the tech world, but how are we going to get it to where we can use something with our smartphones?" And he has instructions again to create an overhead projector using your smartphone. So this is kind of fun. That's a lot of words. You're not going to want to read them here. But if you're doing a repair cafe in Ellensburg or Port Townsend and you're doing some detailed work like jewelry repair or watch repair or something, you're going to need an overhead camera. Well, take a look at this setup. So Jacob Murray has done this. You can see the electrical components. He's actually soldering on green boards from his home office using his cell phone as the overhead projector. And if you'll note, this is just some flex hose that he has here, and his wife's hair clip is holding the cell phone in place. So talk about a repair cafe DIY solution. He's right there with it.
There you go.
And then Chef Jamie Callison, who's the executive chef there at Washington State University, suddenly had to do his labs from his home kitchen. So here's his setup. You can see he's just got things kind of scattered around in his home kitchen, and he's posted all of his labs on his YouTube channel. So you're able.
The leather is brought to a very specific pH level that's important to maintain in the leather. So if you end up with a lot of acidic or oxidizing agents in that leather, you're going to cause a lot of long-term breakdown in it. So That's the reason you never want to use any sort of standard soap or detergent on leather. Some people will use what's called saddle soap, which is kind of normal soap with a few oils and things added to it that isn't, and it's a little more pH balanced for leather. It's still not ideal. And long term, if you use that product, you need to make sure you really fully condition it again afterwards and get those oils back in there and try and restore the proper pH.
Knowing any tips you have for one, keeping it from tarnishing, and also getting things that are, probably toothbrush would be the best again.
Yeah, I've got the perfect solution. Well, it's not perfect, but I've got a great solution for keeping it from tarnishing.
So there's nothing wrong with the motor. This got left sitting in water, and I think it just corroded inside, so that the piston or the rotor in this piece was really hard to turn. So unless you get this apart and like clean it, then it's kind of kaput. And I looked online, and there's no replacements available anymore for that.
Okay.
And we can't figure out how to like take it apart.
Well, what I do is, so this step here is identify the thingamajig, right? It's the food processor, it's Kenmore, and we kind of know that part. So let's go over to YouTube. And then you can see all my DIY. Okay, let's go to food processor. And what do you think that part is called?
Spindle.
What are other names for that? And it's not. Tell me it's not.
Silver polish is a 3M product, and I found out about this by visiting a silversmith's site, an individual who works with large silver pieces and builds and repairs those kind of things. It
don't have time. So it gives you a chance to kind of make it more difficult for a hacker without making it more difficult for yourself. All right, so phishing attacks are very dangerous. That's how they get into, believe it or not, military systems, advanced,
But I don't know if maybe I should try cleaning it as a silver first and seeing.
Yeah, you're probably
just toothpaste, I heard, as well might work.
You're talking about, no, well, it might. You're talking about gold filled, most matter in this particular case. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start by inserting the valve.
So I'm keeping us muted because I have a lot of background noise here, but yeah.
So as far as polishing gold, I think you could use silver polish or toothpaste.
Gene, I was just going to say.
What kind of toothpaste does one use? Is it just like baking soda toothpaste that I've heard people, when they say, use a toothbrush and toothpaste to clear some of these things? I don't know.
I have never used toothpaste to clean it.
I have. I just use whatever is handy.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Probably can't hurt.
Okay. Was there another question?
No. Somebody else was going to.
Okay. Toothpaste makes me think you might want to read the label, because traditional toothpaste has like abrasive pumicey kind of stuff. But apparently that's hard to come by, apparently. And so a lot of modern toothpaste, especially by the big manufacturers, use microplastic particles. And if you read the ingredients, I'm going to assume that those are not going to be as abrasive, as tough as like silica or pumice. So maybe for jewelry, I would use something that has the plastic, Colgate or Crest or something.
Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, thank you.
Just by the way, those products that have those microplastic particles are a disaster for the environment. So
Yes.
If you can avoid buying them, that would really be a smart idea. Also, I was just going to suggest real quick, Gene, that especially with Brasso, wear some cheap rubber glove, like exam gloves or something, because that stuff reeks and it'll really get into your skin and hands and smells horrible.
Maybe use a mask too.
Since we all have them.
Yes. Gee, look at this wonderful repair. You have all these repair specialists to yourself. It's fantastic.
I know. I wish I had more concrete questions to ask, but I didn't come more prepared.
All right.
I could show my that trumpet before and after. I just located the pictures. It was really amazingly bad to start with. It's probably why it was $30. There's the before picture. And let's see, hang on. It kind of saw what the after picture is, but I believe here's the after picture.
Nice.
And the first time I'd ever done that.
And do you play it too?
My daughter begs me not to, but I took it out in the neighborhood when we were doing our evening music.
That's fun.
I'll show you a picture of this brass object. And let's see.
Oh, okay.
You can see it has a little bit of weird sort of white residue on it. So maybe a toothbrush might be the thing to try next on it.
Great. And I know Patricia has a question. She has some really cool glass doorknobs that are giving her some trouble.
So I have these doorknobs. I don't know if you can see them, but they come apart like all the time. And I like screw them together. There's like a little screw on here. I screw it together and it'll last maybe a week or two and it falls apart again. And I have a couple sets of these and both of them do this. And it's extremely annoying. And I guess I've never really, spent a whole lot of time trying to figure out how to fix them so that they don't do that. So I'm hoping somebody has an idea of what I should do to get these so they don't fall off my door all the time.
Yeah, I've got an idea. I don't know if it would be appropriate for doorknobs, but I think it would work. Loctite makes a thread locker that is not permanent. That's a fluid that comes in a tube, and you apply it to the threads and screw things together, and it'll keep it from coming loose from normal use. In other words, and it might be okay for a doorknob. I think if somebody really reefed on or really wrenched on the doorknob, you should be able to break that thread lock, but otherwise that might be appropriate. But it would have to be the thread locker that's not permanent, because they do make permanent thread lock.
Let me throw in here. I've worked with that kind of doorknob before, and I believe what you have is the piece that connects the two handles. It has a square shaft with little threads on the corners of it where they screw together. And then once that's in place, where you adjust it so it's not really tight, but like just where you want it in the door, then that set screw is the part that's coming loose. Because if you tighten the set screw up, the square can't unscrew. I'm thinking that maybe that set screw itself is loose or worn or rounded on the inside, the part that touches the square inner part, and maybe replacing that would be a worthwhile thing. Replacing that set screw, even when might not be easy to find a new one, but a good hardware store should have that. And then then use thread lock for that new screw on in the knob itself.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Bruce, why don't you talk to us a little bit about your repair cafes?
Yeah, okay. So there are two of them. One of them is Finney Village is one of the older villages in the country. Boston, of course, was the first one. and the idea is to help people age in place. So folks will buy into it, on an annual basis, a sliding scale based on income and ability. And then they put in online or call into the office, and tasks are put out to the fixers to say, oh yeah, I can do that. For example, I've got a weeding to do, and I'm working with someone on a computer upgrade and a backup. I found a drive, an external drive that I gave this woman to hang on to and back up her system first. Things are quite varied in there. I mean, some of them are a little out of scale, like, can you help me paint my house? And we kind of say, well, that's a little out of scope. But gutter cleaning, fix a door, fix, number of things. The second one that I'm part of is the P&A Fixers, again, associated with Finney Neighborhood Association on 65th and Finney in Seattle. Amazing community builder, an old school, kind of repurposed into a community center. And that has, until this hit, met first Wednesday of the month for a couple of hours, and people bring in all manner of everything to repair. Lamps are very popular. Pressure washer happened once. My favorite, probably, that put my photo on was fixing an antique tube radio for this woman who was given it by her father. It was her touch, her link to her father.
I can go back. I looked her up. I got my desktop here, so
Okay.
I'll be able to find it again.
Yeah, me too. So.
How much more time do we have, Heather?
Well, I was just going to invite you back if you were done. I wasn't sure.
Oh, okay. Well, let me show. I've got another way that I can show Jessica's kitchen video, and I'll just do little snippets of it just so you get an idea, because it's got some really good stuff, Tracy and Don, for when you're doing repair cafes. And again, like if you're doing something like small, like a watch repair or something like that, she really has it. Plus cook.
So I have an old Viking #1 Plus, which was their first embroidery machine, and it worked great for 12.
Snow Seal's right up there with like the Obanoffs, and in terms of like, it's great if all you care about is waterproofing and sort of general leather longevity. The Snow Seal's great, and people still use that.
Would you say that it's on the same level as the Obanoff as far as maintaining the correct pH?
I think so. I've never actually used Snow Seal myself, so I can't speak to it exactly. I've used the mink oil and the Obanoffs. The two things at this point that I would suggest that people have traditionally used but you should avoid are that mink oil and what's the other oil that people, neat's foot oil. Neat's foot oil is oil that was used forever for leather, and they've recently finally figured out that it's actually really bad for the leather. It has a bunch of oxidizing agents in it. It's reduced from pig's feet and things, but it has a bunch of oxidizing agents in there that'll actually break the leather down and crack it over time. And then, like I said, the mink oil will go rancid and start to smell pretty bad in the long run. So those are the two products I really suggest avoiding. Otherwise, most of these products have their place, like the Snow Seal, like the Obanoffs. Just be aware that either of those products will often really change the color of the leather. So if you have a black leather or a work boot, it doesn't matter. But if it's on a belt or a lighter brown boot or something, you're going to really darken that leather up.
Wow. On a Viking, your number one group to get a hold of would be quilters.
And I am that already. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I can.
Hi, Heather. Oh. So I think Larry lost his connection.
Shoot. Okay.
He was right at the end of his talk, though. He was doing a great job, and I know that you're having thunderstorms out there, or at least
yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I think I can bring you back to the main one.
I did try leaving and it put me into another breakout group, which like I left. So I could do that until you're ready to bring us all back if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That sounds good. And then I'll, yeah, I'm going to close them in a minute anyway. So thanks for your patience.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I know this is, I don't know how you manage so many, like the chat while you were doing it. It's so hard with 30 people on the call.
It's like, okay, next time somehow I'll pre-assign people, but you know, that was the only awkward part. So glad your son can join us, and I see your dots in. I found this in my mom's scrapbook.
Oh,
cute.
We actually have 3 wiener dogs, so 2 15-year-olds and a 1-year-old.
Oh my gosh, too cool.
So
Okay,
this
well,
has been great.
I'll
Okay,
be
I'll
back
leave
in a minute. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, cute.
Café.
You bet.
Thank you.
See, we're getting more people in. Is there any other general repair questions out there? And another device. So it's basically like a tunnel. In fact, we used to call them tunnels in the past. Are we almost out of time, Heather? We need to.
Yeah, I was going to invite you guys back if that's okay. I'm going to close the rooms, and so you should be able to come back to the main room.
Can I have 10 seconds more?
Yes, you can.
All right, and then bring us all back.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Lamp and his mom. And then for about 4 months after that, he came back every single month and watched and helped and had the greatest time.
That's awesome. You want to join everyone?
Everything you can so that somebody else may know about this. So that's one example.
Hey, Jolene. I just wanted to invite everybody back to the main group when you're done. You have like maybe 2 more minutes?
Okay, cool, thanks.
Thank you.
I do have a quick question, and thank you. I think
you do. I invite you down to Vashon sometime when we have a Fix-It Cafe, and when we all can get together again.
In terms of cutting tools, probably that and a good knife or an X-Acto knife. That's most of what you need.
You know, Brendan, I'm getting some really weird vibes here because you have all the same styles of shoes and colors that I like. And you've got the same pocket knife that I do.
You've got the Open L? Yeah.
I do. I love Open Ls.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting really creeped out here.
Well, David, we did some online stalking of you before. Yeah.
Exactly. We've tailored.
Hey guys, I was just going to invite you back to the main group if you want to join us.
Yeah, we can come back.
Thanks for all your help, Brandon.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, bring us back.
Thought had some stuff to donate, but I was wondering how those work, and maybe we should link.
There are 2 of them here to suggest. One of them is Finney Neighborhood Association, or finneycenter.org. Take a look at that one. They do a great job and have the financial backing and the location to put them. I mean, those are 2 critical elements. There's one more off of, is called a Northeast Seattle Library, and that would be another one to look at as well. You know, get a hold of the folks that do that. But those are the only 2 I know of. I know there are probably a half dozen around the city here. And
Right. I was going to say I just received a email from Xenia Delovova. She's an organizer for the Fix-It Fairs in Tacoma. And yes, I could forward you an email because it's sent out to 70 people, and they started a new listserv for leaders and volunteers for tool libraries, Fix-It repair groups, and Make Spaces events. So I think it is based on the tool library. It's going to be a tool library conference hosted by Zero Waste Vashon. So if you would like me to try to get that link to you, maybe you would be interested in linking up with them. Something's going on.
Sounds
what
like
do you
a
mean by tool library? You mean you can borrow things from a tool library?
Yes, yes. There is one in Tacoma already, I believe, in the public. It's called a tool library, and you get to check out tools. And I don't know details about it because I've never actually been to one, but I've heard about it, and it's in affiliation with the Fix-It fairs in Tacoma. So I can, like I said, I can share a link with all that information if
I'm pretty sure there's also a tool library, a lending library in Seattle.
There's one quite near me in West Seattle that's been fantastic.
Also.
Yeah.
And they're quite, I believe you can sort of donate for a membership, but it's very reasonable. I think it's, I can't remember exactly what it was now, but it's optional. And it's sort of a pay what you want model for the actual borrowing of the tools. Like I got a squirrel saw from them a couple months ago for a project for a weekend, and it was fantastic.
There's a brand new variant at Finney Center. It's just barely online, and that's an actual wood shop. And they're still working out the details of making sure that people are trained, that there's stewards that can be there on a schedule. But that's kind of an out of the ballpark thing. I got, actually, ironically, from Everett, but I got a few lathes from a friend of mine who moved into senior living.
I was going to say there's a Northwest tool library I haven't been to, and I believe it's closed right now, but I put a link to the side Northeast Seattle Tool Library.
Right, yes.
Oh,
that might be a good model for starting because it doesn't require all the funding and so forth that the Finney one has. I mean, that one is more volunteer operated.
Thank you.
And when you start talking funding, things become far more complex. You know, the whole site, the funding and all that, it's just like, whoa, wait a minute, let's start easy.
Thank you so much. Welcome back, everybody. How did it go? Good. Well, we have 2 minutes left of our event, but I know that probably some of our fixers may have to go, but some might still be available for questions. So I didn't know if there's anyone in the group that had some questions that weren't answered yet. If you go down to, let's see, the bottom of your screen, I think that you can do reactions. Do you have that button?
Yep.
You can, and then also if you, let's see, how do people raise their hand? I don't seem to have that on mine, but I think that.
That's for webinars.
Oh, that's for webinars. Never mind. Well, I saw someone raise their hand earlier.
Actually, if you go down to participants, on the bottom of your screen, it'll say participants. And if you click on that, it'll show a screen to your right. And on the bottom of that, it'll have a thing where you can raise your hand.
Okay, great. So
I gave that.
Go ahead. What?
I was wrong.
It's okay, Jason. Okay, I'm going to go with Maria first.
I really don't have something to say. I just
Oh,
tried.
you were just trying it. Very,
Works.
very good. Very good. Okay, next one is Bruce.
Just trial balloon.
Awesome. Brian?
Just demonstrating.
Awesome.
Practicing. Hi, thanks everybody.
Yes, thank you. Mary?
Me?
Mary King?
Yeah. What was the question?
Oh, I just saw you had raised your hand, so I'm just checking in.
I was trying it out, but just I enjoyed this, and I want to commend Jolene. I was in her group, and I like, you know, if we ever have in-person repair cafes again, I think it would be awesome to include someone like Jolene, or anyway, like a station that says how to do your own research on stuff.
Great, great suggestion. And
Thank
that
you.
way I don't have to recruit her. You just did. Thank you. You're a wanted woman, Jolene. Okay, Clark, you're next.
Oh, I was just trying it out, looking to see if it was an icon or something.
Okay, great. Good. See, look at all we're learning here. And David.
Okay, well, I actually have a real question.
Oh, super.
For Maria. Over in Ellensburg, we've been doing it for 2 years as well, and we're constantly surprised at the number of requests for repair and sewing and mending and darning that we get, and that's a big activity every single month. Could you tell us a little bit about the sewing that you do in your repair cafes?
Well, there is a lot of sewing. There's 4 of us. 3 of them are part of. We got involved in this through the CTA, the Clothing and Textile Advisors of Snohomish County, and so we all know a little bit about sewing. I'm no longer a member of that group, but it's an excellent group. And so we repair all kinds of things. A lot of hems, a lot of patching, a lot of pants that are well worn, probably more so than, and then it's time for them to retire into the recycling bin at Goodwill. But a lot of patching, some zipper repair, although that's pretty hard to do in a 30-minute session where you're suddenly trying to fix a zipper. I mean, you could explain how to do it with just the zipper repair kit, but not replacing it. So sometimes people come in with all kinds of ideas in their heads on what they want to make, and that's not really our purpose. Our purpose is to do a functional repair and send them on their way. And I think part of the thing is, like everybody else who does Repair Cafe, is just talking to the person and knowing why that's important for them. And it could be just a little alteration that they need, something that's just a little bit too big or too small, or how to put a drawstring back in a pair of pajamas. So those are the kinds of things that we do.
Thank you, Maria.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And then we also have Don. You have your hand raised. Thank you.
Yeah. When I'm kind of interested in how you whoever organized this Zoom meeting that we're in right now, how did you what were the first few steps you took to get this group of people you got here lined up? Did you just post it on your website or contact people? How did you go about organizing this meeting?
That is a great question. Jolene's laughing because she's one of my really good friends. And so that's how she got roped in. And actually, same with, that's how Brian became a fixer for us as well. But so what I did is, since we've been doing the repair cafes for a couple of years, I drew upon my fixers from that. Those folks I found mostly through friendships, and then also putting it out to the community that we needed more repair specialists, and then people came forward. So that's how we got Clark and Brent and everyone. Of course, Brendan and Mark are my colleagues, and Larry with Sharing Wheels Community Bike Shop. So that's how we did that. And then it's just been great because we've had other folks from other repair cafes join us today, which really helped, like Bruce. And yeah, that's how we did that, Don.
Okay. Yeah, great. So does this look like something we could do in the future amongst the different repair cafes through the state, throughout the state,
I think so. In fact, I will make sure to email you. Heather Trim from Zero Waste Washington just put out a listserv of different repair groups for Washington. And then
cool.
And I can also connect you with with Don Fick from North Carolina, I mentioned. He does the Repair Cafe TV. And then I also was on a Repair Cafe on Thursday with Hastings and some folks from New York. So that's a great thing about Zoom is we can really help each other across the states.
Right.
So I'll be, I see there's a lot of wonderful things in chat and I've saved it and I will be emailing out all those links that have been shared, and like Liz shared some great things, and Patricia, I'm gonna lower your hand. You wanna go ahead and say something?
Me?
No, I was just
Patricia.
going to say this was great, Heather. I think, yeah, as we got several repair experts from different groups from the region here, is figuring out how we can work together.
Yeah.
And really, you know, as we start to iron out the kinks and doing these virtually, to really try and gradually build this up, because even as we start to, you know, open up, there's still going to be a lot of people that are vulnerable populations that are going to be at home, and, you know, they need services, they need resources. It's going to be a while before we can do, you know, our 100% in-person repair events again. It could be a year, realistically. So I think figuring out how to do this across Washington, even beyond, would be just excellent. So great job, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Now, David mentioned also Hudson Valley Repair Cafe, and Tracy just added one as well. And so, like I said, I will gather all those up and send it out to everybody. And I'm just so thankful for everyone that joined today and for your patience with us. And Jolene, go ahead. You have a question?
Yeah, I don't really have a formulated thought, but while you're all here, I just, I feel like with that listserv from Zero Washington, I feel like we need to get together and reach out to more people. And I have the piece. So with the repair cafes, I know how we can reach the people. I really think it's the buy nothings and it's the neighborhood groups.
Mm-hmm.
And I just joined a couple the other day, and like I learned about gardening and you know, was able to secure cinder blocks and all these things. And I feel like people really enjoy, even if we don't even see the person, but like being part of that community. And with established repair cafes already, I think that they can be distributed and, you know, through Nextdoor and Buy Nothing and all these places. And so I think if we can bridge the gap from the repair cafes to infiltrate all the neighborhoods, I think people would be really pleased, and then they would connect during this time. And so I don't have, I'm just saying, and I can help bridge the gap. I just don't know, you know, anything about the repair cafes, but that's all.
And now you are. Welcome. Thank you, Jolene. Great idea. And Wayne, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering, has anyone in any of the groups worked with a hands-off or touch-free version of Repair Cafe, where somebody would drop something off with a form that had their contact information? It would sit for 24 hours, and then we'd have contact so that we could tell them what we're doing and what the process would be, and then get it back to them. Has anybody worked on that model?
Go ahead, Don.
Our policy with Ellensburg has always been to teach the client, to educate them the best we can, and to give them confidence to do things themselves. So as far as drop-offs, we don't do them. We just flat don't do them.
Love it. What I was wondering is we could set up a Zoom link or FaceTime link or something so that we could show them what we're doing in real time.
Yeah.
Rather than just a drop off, fix it and send it back, so that they'd still be involved.
That's what's really got me fired up, was this Zoom thing now. This is my first experience with it right now. And it's like my head just, all this stuff's coming through it so fast. I would like to see maybe this group get together more, and others get together and do idea exchanges like we're doing now.
Yes.
As far as doing repairs via Zoom, I don't see why not. You know, I just need to learn the potential of what we're dealing with here. I think it's huge.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Just one second, Jolene, I'll call on you. We were, when we were brainstorming about how to offer repair cafes on virtually, I tried with our group to show my toaster, and it's like, oh, how do I fix this? You know, and it's kind of difficult because we were talking about sometimes with a repair, you want to hear it, you want to see it, you want to kind of tinker with it to figure it out. And so we decided against that, but Sharing Wheels Bike Shop is offering the bike drop-off fixes. And then I do like the idea of keeping the person whose item it is involved. So maybe there's a drop-off, a 24-hour periods, like you said, and then a Zoom connection so that the fixer can be talking with the person whose item it is to keep them involved, because that is the important part of repair cafes. Okay, and Jolene and then Brent.
Oh, I was just thinking about, again, bridging the gap and letting people know to not throw things away. We could partner with all the little libraries that we see in our neighborhoods and the little pantries. And there's another one that's not in our area, I can't remember it, but because there's online locations. And so if we could kind of tie in with those who are already helping people who maybe don't have means, if we could help those people too, I think, you know, I don't know if there could be signs, you know, on the little pantries and free books to like, hey, get this repaired because people can't afford it. So anyways, just a way to network out.
Great idea. And then Brent, you had your hand raised.
Just jumping off of what Wayne said, and I just shared out this link to this website that does repair questions. But rather than waiting for a once a month meeting or something like this, is there a way to advertise out to people that like they could email their questions, say to you or something, and then you distribute it to the appropriate repair person? And then anytime a person has something they want to work on, they would just reach out with that question and then get it sent to the proper repair person, and then you don't have to wait for any specific time or place.
Yeah, that's a fun idea. Thank you, Brent.
Heather, I was going to say, that takes your time, and I think a more efficient way. We know you have tons of free time, Heather, but just to have a Facebook group or a Facebook page where here's my problem, and then you have 10 designated fixers, if they want to, can admin in there and help out. So then it's self-serve. It's still a community, but it's done at your leisure, and it doesn't take any of your time, Heather.
Okay, great idea. Maybe on our website, because not everyone has Facebook. But yes, I love it. Thank you, Jolene. Tracy.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to mention, just recently, a friend of mine in the community offered a space for very low rent that could possibly be turned into a place where people could drop off, but there'd be one fixer scheduled, maybe a sewer would be on Thursdays, and they would work alone in that space, but there'd be an area for drop off. So that's another possibility for local community fixings.
Yes. And Patricia also, we were we were brainstorming ideas about a possible outdoor repair cafe that maybe we'd be able to do more social distancing and, just having not recirculated air outdoors. So that's an idea we're exploring as we go into new phases. Yeah. Anybody else have something that they wanted to ask, or anybody have any repair questions that they didn't get answered that they're still thinking about?
Well, just for Jolene, I guess, I'm really intrigued by the buy nothings. I know maybe we're running out a little long here tonight or this morning. But I'd sure like to hear more about what that's all about. Maybe not right now, but if we could, if she would mind sharing that with the group somehow, email or whatever, I'd love to hear more.
Sounds great. Yeah. And Jolene's also an excellent upcycler, so I'm going to have her present on that in the future. And then got some good shares going here in chat. Mary suggested farmers markets. That's also another place we've thought about. The King County did I think it was last year, they did a kind of a new version of a county fair, and it was called Chomp, and it was farmers market. They had a fix-it booth. Heather Trim from Zero Waste Washington was there. And that was pretty cool. And Beth, you have your hand raised.
I do. I have a very quick question. I'm just trying to decide whether to bother working on a microwave that's showing signs that it has a short in the cord, and how easy it is, like how big of a project is it to open it up and look for the short or replace the power cord?
I don't think it's worth it. How old is your microwave?
I got it used from a thrift store, and it's a cube style microwave, so it's very small and expensive.
I don't think it's worth it, because I just took apart my microwave, and the fuse went out, or I think that's the right term, and it's dangerous. So in the microwave, there's this, I don't know, Bruce, what this is called, that capacitor or some.
There's a magnetron.
So it's dangerous to work with, and particularly if you don't know what you're doing, and it's heavy, and I don't know if you'll explode or whatever. But so I don't, with microwaves, I got mine at the Sears outlet. I think it was $250. It's a great one, and doing price checking on that. But also, when you're dealing with something that's powerful, and you're new at it, probably not the best idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. I've replaced on my own. They use a mica, kind of an escutcheon inside the cube itself that takes the waveguide from the magnetron and directs the waves down onto your food. And those oftentimes get splashed with like grease or something. It causes a short. So the first thing is take some cleaner, locate that. It will look different than anything else in the microwave.
Okay.
And so as you're looking around for it, and they're generally sheets of mica, which are, impervious to food and so forth, but they let the radio waves through, and clean that up. May even need to scour it a little bit. Mine I ultimately had to replace with a mica sheet that I just cut to shape and put in. But I would agree otherwise, you're playing with fire, because the radiation can hurt. If anyone unwittingly walks by with a pacemaker and you got a leak, you got a problem.
Good to know. That's exactly what I was hoping to get advice
and,
on. Thank you so much.
And the part that Jolene was referring to, the being dangerous, is the capacitor in there. And so if somebody was going to repair the microwave, the first thing you'd have to do is take a screwdriver and short out the leads on that capacitor, and it would sound like a gun going off.
Yes. Like old TVs.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Although if you were talking about just the power cord, that's a different story.
Well, it does seem like when it has a propensity to short, if I wiggle the cord, it has a better chance of staying on.
Oh.
Which end of the cord do you wiggle? Where it goes into the microwave or at the
near
wall?
the connection to the microwave.
Oh.
That may be an easier fix. I would stay away from the magnetron, but power cords are not that big a deal.
Yeah.
What about like door switches and stuff? I mean, those are pretty often go wrong, and don't even mess with those either.
They get greasy, but if you spray it and it doesn't work, like carb cleaner might work for that. But again, you got to do it outdoors,
But don't open the whole box thing.
No.
I mean, because that's just too much of a project and safety wise. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Jolene has her hand raised. I hope you're going to talk about how you recycled your old microwave.
I was not, but I did make a video of it at a time lapse, and everything was recycled except for the plastic sticker on the outside to keep it clean, the entire thing. So I'm really happy about that. I was going to say, for everybody out here, I think that we're all probably more, hippie leaning, green, climate change believers. I think the best thing that we can do is share what we're doing. Like, look, it was so easy. Look, you know what? You can make that into this other thing, because I think people are not confident. It's like, oh, I don't know anything about that. And I'll just, it's really cheap. I'll just buy another one. And you could really help their confidence and empower them if they're low on money too right now. I think people lack confidence a lot. And I think that doing these sort of things will boost them up and they can feel more worthy. So when you are repairing, I think sharing with people and like, oh, you know what, you probably, here's a link. Why don't you take a look at it? I'll be happy to help you. But just so you know what I'm doing, here's, a little bit of vocabulary, here's a video, just to try and like nudge them to be, to do more, to learn more, to be involved.
I have a question.
Yeah, Patricia.
About the microwave, do you know where you would take it to ditch it?
Jolene, where did you take yours? Oh, Bruce, go ahead.
Well, Take It Back WA has a list of recycling sites. Even like a lot of places, the office supply places will take back many things there, but it's an easy look.
Are they open at this time?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I don't know.
Our Goodwill store takes microwaves, TVs, electronic garbage.
E-waste.
Yeah, e-waste, right.
I did read that those places were, at least in Woodinville, they were accepting stuff. The Goodwill.
Whether they're open or not, who knows?
Yeah, I know that computer recycling is not in Seattle.
They said they were. I mean, they sent out and said, we are now open to receive things. That was a couple weeks ago. So
yes,
that's a possibility.
They are, and there's pretty big lines. I know that James drove by the Woodinville Goodwill the other day, and it already had a lineup before they were.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
So, yes, thank you. Anybody else?
So what we're doing here, this is Michael. He's going to share with me how to.
Jolene, are you sharing something with us?
Sorry.
Okay. Well, I just want to say thanks again to everybody. I'm so thrilled. And yes, Patricia says, long lines at the Goodwills, try early on a Wednesday morning if you're desperate to donate. One thing that I am thinking about doing, and Jolene just shared her microwave video, is having a free yard sale and just putting things out and allowing people to come and pick up what they want. That's my thought about it. Let's see how it goes.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I love dogs.
Heather,
Yes,
Heather,
Tracy.
will we be able to, if I don't copy this link right now, will I be able to access all these links that are being shared?
Yes, I'm going to collate them all together and then send them out with an email this afternoon. So thank you, Tracy, for asking that. And I, yes, would love to continue to connect. We haven't planned our next virtual repair cafe. We wanted to kind of test the waters with this one, but I think that I think it went really well, and my cats definitely learned something. Thank you, Wayne and Clark, for the thumbs up. And so I'll be talking with my committee and figuring out another date, and I'll also be sending those out probably at the end of next week. We'll have some tentative dates. I mean, some dates set for our next ones. So yes, Patricia, did you want to say?
Oh, no, that was a mistake.
Oh, that's okay. I'm glad you're here.
Why is that on? I don't know.
Oh, that's all right. Anybody else for the good of the group, or should we go enjoy the day now that it's stopped raining?
I haven't I haven't spoken enough today, so I just I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. It's so neat to have community people. I'm around a lot of tech people my age or younger, and it's a different scene, and I just love that you were all willing to help and empower and everybody. So it just makes me feel very happy. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Jolene. Yay.
Me too.
Yeah,
Patricia.
ditto.
Thank you. Thanks, Don. Thank you, Brent. Thumbs up from Mark too. Yeah. Yeah, so, and then David said, one thing about buy nothing groups is part of the philosophy of the founder is, I need to look this up, that they must be tied to one small neighborhood only. Okay, in fact, must split when they reach a certain size. The size constraints make buy nothing a useful resource as long as you remember you aren't reaching as many people you would in a larger group. Thank you, good point. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I'm really grateful that you all attended and were patient through my, assigning of those breakout rooms. But once we got there, I think it worked, and hearing good feedback from everyone. And thank you. Yes, thank you, Bruce. No Rules Seattle. Nice, good work. And thank you, Wayne and Beth and David and James for being here, and Harvey, everybody, and Mary, appreciate it very much. Dawn and Jennison is joining us from Florida, right? Yeah, so that's exciting. Okay, well, I think with that, I'm going to let everybody go. Jennison and Patricia, Patricia Townsend and I are going to stay on and chat for just a second. But everybody go and enjoy your day. Fixers, I will see you on Thursday for a recap. Thanks again. And Don and Bruce, I look forward to being in touch with you.
Thank you.
And Wayne also. So we'll see you again soon.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Juice it. Same thing with your raspberries. You can throw your raspberries in.
What? Raspberries in?
Oh, sorry, that's my husband talking. This other son, Emerson, he's making juice to sell to our neighborhood. So he has a
like a lemon stand thing.
Do you want to tell them what you're putting in your juice? What ingredients go in the juice?
I can't get all of it.
You can just tell them.
Yeah, you can tell them.
I don't have all the ingredients right now, but I'm gonna put raspberries, mangoes, bananas, limes, orange juice, which is right here, and lemon juice.
Yum. Can you?
Sounds really good.
And you can see his half a haircut that I was able to accomplish last weekend before his birthday. It's not completely done.
Fun.
But it's kind of growing on us. It's kind of hip, right, Emerson?
Totally hip. Really. Put some style gel in there. You could like flock of seagulls guy.
You can get some ice cream.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Whenever I cut my boy's hair, we always put it out in the backyard so the birds can use it for nests.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And you don't have to clean it up. I cut my son Henry's hair, and it wasn't too bad. But he's definitely due for another one.
I guess I'll.
Nancy, you going to join us?
Can you still hear me? Yeah. Sorry about the noise in the background.
Nancy, you're on mute. Oh, it's no problem, Jennison.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jennison. Nancy, you're on mute. Are you saying bye? Okay, bye. Oh, that's great. Oh, all right.
Great job, Heather.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay.
That was
good. Good.
It was good. I love all the sharing. That worked out really well. I was panicked, but I shouldn't have been. Things always work out, so it's okay. And everybody had somebody in their group. Larry, thank you, Jennison, for being in Larry's group.
It's funny because when you asked me, I originally thought I would want to join Larry's, but then I thought if there's a group that doesn't have anybody in their group, then you should put me there. You know, I'll save and wait and see what group doesn't have anybody. And so it's kind of funny that it ended up, I was the only one in his group, but it was super helpful. And he was so nice. He was talking with my older son, Isaac, and learned that he has a grandson named Isaac also. And, you know, it was neat to have that like direct one-on-one interaction with him. And, you know, he was asking if we have any e-bikes yet.
Fun.
So.
Yeah, I popped over to Brendan's session, and it was just him and David. And David got really kind of creeped out here, Brendan. Because like David had the exact same like tools and everything, and like same style shoes that Brendan did.
That's so funny. They were meant to be together. Yeah.
I was like, well, David, we did a little online stalking of all of our Zoomers before we started.
Yeah. Sorry, Emerson is hogging the video. So, but I promised Emerson, them I would not. It's Saturday for everyone, so I don't want to keep them too long. Okay.
No, you're so fun, though, Emerson. I love seeing
you. Yes, yesterday both kids graduated. Emerson from 1st grade and Isaac from 5th grade. So they're both going to be at new schools next year.
And I'm sad. I won't see my brother in school ever again.
Oh shoot, ever again?
Because they're just far enough apart in age where the program Emerson is going into is the program Isaac is graduating out of. And so they won't overlap. So he's sad about that. But they'll be next door. You're right next to the middle school Isaac will be at.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
that's what you want to be. My kids, my older son is like, I don't want Henry anywhere near high school.
How old are your sons? I feel like
yeah, Henry is 11 and Jack is 14. So Jack's in 8th grade. Henry's just finishing 5th grade. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I have a friend named Jack.
You do? Cool. He's a nice kid.
Mm-hmm. He was the first friend I ever met in J.J. Fenley.
Oh, that's
at his elementary school. Yep. Best buddies. Yeah. Can I talk with Heather and Patricia now?
Okay.
Okay. Go. I'm gonna come try your juice soon. Okay.
That's so awesome.
No, this was great. I mean, it's such practical information. I always feel very restored.